Alrighty, it's the weekend, and this is Life as You Own It. Thanks so much for joining us. We think you're in for a fantastic treat over the next hour. If you're a first-time listener, welcome aboard. If you're a regular, welcome back. I'm Mark McDougald. He is, what's your name again?
Ed Rooney.
Ed Rooney.
Craig Miller.
Craig
Miller, as always. Might take on a new personality today, though, Mark.
A new persona. All right. Well, we are the roof over your head show. Roof over your shed show for some of you.
Sometimes.
But we're the roof over your head show for most of you. We're going to cover so much information, whether you're a renter or whether you're a homeowner. You want to be a sophisticated consumer, right? You want to be savvy, don't you?
You do. You want to be well informed.
You want to be well informed. Well, this is the place that each and every weekend we're going to give you a dose of information and education, and probably the majority parts will be fun and some humor. That's what we like to bring it with. But we definitely want to make sure you leave each weekend going, I'm a little smarter, I'm a little wiser. What's some of the stuff we cover, you ask? Well, in today's show, we're going to talk about zombie foreclosures. We're going to touch on some of the new components that the credit agencies are getting ready to implement that will impact your credit score. We're also going to talk about low-down home payments. They're making a comeback. What are the most typical ones and common ones? And what's your checklist? You should what should you go through before you become a homeowner with possibly one of these low-down payment options? We give you the national average on interest rates. We take your questions, which is the big part of our show, is you emailing us at questions@lifeasyouownit.com or calling us at 800-270-6425, because by gosh, we want to hear from you. Remember, you can podcast the show, or you can check it out on many of our growing number of affiliates. And as a reminder, if you're catching us and you're driving to another community, or you're podcasting the show and you'd like to hear it live and fresh and not able to podcast it in your market, well, you're able to podcast it. But if there's a time where you want to hear it fresh on air, contact your local radio station and say, I demand that you carry Life as You Own It, because it is going to educate the masses, and it will help us ensure that our housing market and our economy is on the right track into perpetuity. That's good. That's a mouthful there. How you doing, man? You doing good? Well. I gave all that information without really finding out how you are. Talk to me,
It's okay, Mark.
You doing okay?
I'm going to be fine.
I missed you.
It's good. Well,
this hour that we spend each week is the main, we don't get it's the time we spend together. Right?
We've drifted apart.
We have.
When this show is over, we're going to embrace.
Two hearts, two hearted. Something like two hearts beating is one.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll sing that later. You can be it's Barbara Streisand and Lionel Richie.
Okay, it probably is. I was doing the Lionel Richie part.
No, you were doing.
You were a Streisand fan. I was a Richie fan. So, folks, a lot of information, and whether it's getting your best deal on homeowners insurance, getting your best deal on your mortgage refinance or your purchase transaction, how to make sure that you're properly covered in insurance, getting a financial plan, all the things. Some of them high level, and some just simple, easy steps that you need to take to make sure that you are a savvy consumer and doing the things to protect yourself and get yourself in the best position. That's what we do. And we do it while we have some fun. So, Craig, you ready to jump in on? Did I miss anything? Some other things coming on the show?
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
It's fine.
All right.
Are you staying in town for spring break, Mark, or are you heading somewhere?
Heading south of the border.
Are you?
You've considered doing that a few times, haven't you?
Yes.
Permanently. I am. I'm going. My family. We're going to Mexico. We're going to Cancun for a week.
That'll be nice.
It will. We're gonna have to. I will record this. I'll call in. We'll do the show from Cancun. I'll compare housing.
I'll be in Florida, so we'll be both doing something. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Where are you going in Florida?
So we'll compare what's going on.
Any listeners in Florida? You want to
I can't
see the
disclose
legend
that information
himself?
at this time, but
we'll
be
There'll be a mob
of
ladies, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll be abbing out.
If they got your location in Florida, that is. All right. So.
All right, let's talk. Well, I just wanted to know because I was thinking about that. I was like, Mark's due for a little.
I have a little time
get
off.
away, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to work. But I'm going to be enjoying the beach.
But don't worry, folks. The show will still be here coming at you on the weekend. We'll make sure we get it done for you. Hey, so Craig.
Heather's going to be in
You want to
Florida.
jump? We got to
married.
make an announcement. We have a new team member. Heather has joined the team. We're not going to worry about her last name because it's going to change in a couple weeks. She is.
Less than a couple weeks.
That's right. She is here on board with Life as You Own It to ensure that we are giving the very best listener experience, which means ensuring that our social media is kept up to date, that we're engaging with you, making sure we're answering your questions and responsive in the fashion that we need to be to become your one-stop shop for all of your financial information needs. So check us out. Go to lifeisyouwant.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter. We want your information. We want to engage with you, and we're so excited to have Heather on board because she's going to be the one that makes sure Craig and I stay on task.
There we go.
Okay.
Let's get into the rates. Let's talk about the national average. Excuse me, I'm going to spit on you there. National average interest rates
Used to it.
over the past week. Folks, every week we bring you the national average, give you some guidance, let you know in general their direction rates are going. You need to pay attention to what we share because you may be getting a quote on a refinance or a purchase where the rate is significantly higher than what you're hearing here. Maybe you're getting a quote that's significantly lower. What could that mean, though? That could mean you're paying a ton of fees. So we warn you every single week, do not pay too much in closing costs. Pay close attention to the fees. That's the big thing that affects rate the most. I'll have a person tell me, well, I'm getting quoted at 0.5% or 0.25% lower rate than another guy. Certainly it's possible, but you're probably paying for it in the way of extensive fees and closing costs that you may never actually save any money. We always recommend you compare a very, very low cost, if not zero cost, that's the preference, the zero cost loan. Compare those quotes to one with some fees. Do the math. Do the break-even period, which you can find at lifeisyouownit.com, and we give you that break-even formula so that you can figure for yourself which loan saves me the most money, and the moist saves you the most, but the most money over the shortest period of time, long haul, etc. All right, 30-year fixed rates, folks, 3.92 average over the last week, compared to 3.96 the week before, so a very slight movement, but for the most part, that's flat. 15-year fixed, 3.16 versus 3.18. Again, virtually flat there, no movement. 5-year ARMs, that's ARM stands for adjustable rate mortgage. That's fixed for 5 years, and that can adjust annually up or down. That currently is at 3.64 average versus 3.57 the week before, so moving in the opposite direction there on the short-term ARM. And 30-year fixed FHA, government-backed FHA loan, that's 3.61 versus 3.64. Remember with FHA loans, folks, there's additional fees, fairly costly mortgage insurance. You got to pay attention to whether or not that's the best option for you because it may indeed have the lowest rate, but not always the best deal if you qualify for something else. Again, as we say every week, do the math, folks. If you're not one of these folks that's just kind of on top of the old, if your math acumen is lacking, I would say to find someone who is able to explain it to you, go over it with you, double check what perhaps a lender is showing you, but a really good, conscientious, professional lender should be able to sit down with you and break it all down to where you understand it and make a well-informed decision. If you don't feel like you've got all your facts straight, don't pull the trigger and sign on the dotted line until you do. If you can't explain it well enough to your friends for them to understand it, then you're not understanding it well enough yourself to do it, to sign it yourself. So, Mark, what's the first topic up on the agenda here?
You know, we're not going to go in any specific order because we're going to keep our listeners on their toes, but I think of interest to me anyway, and hopefully to you, and if not, just suck it up, is zombie foreclosures.
Yeah? Why is that interesting? Do you like zombies?
I'm a big fan.
The
zombies apparently are all the rage these days.
They've been, a couple of years now. Everybody's into the zombie thing. What's up with that?
Vacated, thinking of vacation too much, vacated by the homeowner and left unattended, zombie foreclosures are still plaguing many housing markets. Nearly 1 in 4 homes in foreclosure at the end of January were already abandoned by the owner before being repossessed. So you get what a zombie foreclosure is now. The owner is left prior to the foreclosure process having taken place, and unfortunately many of these homes start to fall in quickly in a significant amount of disrepair. And while the number of zombie foreclosures has fallen 6% from the year before, 19 states have seen a resurgence, including New Jersey, New York, and California. So the bottom line, folks, is that there is continued a problem with these properties, and the reality is they can bring the overall value of a neighborhood down because they're a blight on the community. They still are a problem. The good news is, I'll tell you, because our housing market has continued its rebound, because in many markets, something we're going to touch on later is that many markets there's a shortage of inventory. most markets, there's a shortage of supply, and that means that there are less and less of these homes in your neighborhood, but they are a real problem, and ideally, an investor, just as we talked about on last week's show. What are the opportunities to become a real estate investor? Ideally, someone will come in, snatch up one of those houses at the right price, fix it up, and everybody will be happy. But that's what a zombie foreclosure is, one where the people have left, but the shell remains.
Make sure if you're getting into investing for the first time, you get some advice from some experienced real estate investors, do your research, listen to the show. I'll warn you that some of these areas that are significantly affected by zombie foreclosures, if we want to call them that, buying one of these properties amongst many others may or may not be the best short-term investment anyway, because you may find yourself in an area where there's not an equal amount of interest by other buyers. And so if you're going to have the one house on the block or one of a few that are occupied and in good shape, that may not be a good investment. So make sure that if you are looking at a property like this, that the surrounding area and the neighborhood seems to be making a resurgence or a comeback if it has been in bad shape, or it seems like there's a lot of buying activity going on, because otherwise you may end up with something that's 5 years down the road, still an unattractive area. Location still applies when you're getting good deals on foreclosures. All right.
You know it, my brother. Also, interesting, speaking of zombie foreclosures, David Hasselhoff's mansion is for sale for $2.3 million. Craig, you checked out the house? The Hoff. You're a big fan, aren't you?
I think
we were talking about off air that you still have that life-size poster on the back of your door of the Hoff.
No, that was
maybe
you,
with his shirt partially unbuttoned and his
I had a
bodysuit.
picture of his Knight Rider car. That's what I have.
Kit.
Yeah, Kit.
You didn't even know the name.
Sure I did.
Yeah, whatever. All right, folks, so you can get a good deal on, looks like a good deal, because that's a big and beautiful house, but the Hoff has got his home for sale for $2.3 million. It's a French Mediterranean style in Calabasas, California. You may want to check it out online. We'll put a link to it if you're interested on the website, so you too can maybe get in on the action and live some of the memories that Knight Rider has.
There you go.
Life is your own. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to talk about those low down payment options if you're thinking about buying that first home. Stay tuned. Okay, do we want to reconnect or anything, or? Okay. All right. On our end, we are on a, we're not on Wi-Fi, so we're directly through, so no. Let me make sure. No, nothing. You want to make sure that's turned off. We're going to go, we're going to check something real quick. We might have a variable. We'd logged on from another computer earlier, and I think we shut it off, but we'll.
This is a nice place for $2 million in California. Yeah. That's crazy.
It's broken. Oh, great. Yep, I called the repair guy, so hopefully he will be out soon. Yes, correct.
All right.
Let me know after.
Hey, Heather, did you get it? Okay. All right.
Let him know that they're not
Yeah, we've got. She went out, shut off the computer. Hopefully, we won't have the issue. There was one that was synced in with it. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. We're back. I'm Mark McDougall. He is Craig Miller. This is Life as You Own It. Craig, all right. So, what do you think? Let's talk about those no down or low down payment options that may be something you should consider. But we're going to talk about the general overview of what some of those options are, and Craig is also going to talk about maybe what you need to have, regardless of the down payment, what you need to have relative to your financial house, what considerations you should make before you become a homeowner. Ready?
Absolutely.
You're on, brother.
We're going to talk about the low down payment stuff first?
Well, you go. Your
as far as
call.
low down payment making a comeback,
Yeah.
To quote LL Cool J circa
Yeah.
1988 or
Sure.
whatever it was, don't call it a comeback, they've been here for years. There's no comeback. Low down
Right.
payment loans never went away. The perception perhaps is that they've made a comeback. The reality is that FHA 3.5% down never went away.
Right.
Conventional went to 5% from, well, there was 100%, there was 3% down payment, but
Yeah.
5%. So I mean, in relative terms, a low down payment, I would say anything 10%, 5%, anything like that is a low down payment.